this week's episode of Support Esports Podcast. I'm your host, King Winkfan, or William, and with me I have Brock.
Hello.
And this is week 3. Well, it's week 3 of the podcast, but it's like we're talking about week 2. But week 3 of the podcast for the LPL. And let's get right into it. Let's talk about the games that happened this week. We had game number 1 of the week. Oops, let's exit out these. But we had game number 1 of the week, which was Billy versus OMG. Big upset already to start the game. Took us out. Like we both had very good weeks, but it didn't start out so good because first game of the week was Billy versus OMG, and OMG with Ale, of course, just destroyed Billy.
Your Twitch is messed up for me.
Is it
I
messed
don't know
up?
if it just started hosting Matt again. Okay, there it goes.
All right, got it. Cool.
Sorry, but it just popped up, so I want to make sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Oh,
just
yeah. That's fine. That's fine because it makes sense if that was all messed up. But anyway, Ale just dominated on Fiora, just crushed it, and I think
such a good.
I mean, he's a good player. He did get beat a little later in the week, but like he's an up and coming star. I always look forward to watching him play. The next game we had was IG versus Rogue Warriors. Not much to talk about there. It was a nice, clean. IG was like disrespectful, kind of like they kind of just like were trolling them a bit because they're such a higher level skill. They have such a higher skill ceiling than Rogue Warriors does. But it wasn't too much to talk about. IG just cleaned up. They did their business, but they looked a little sloppy because they were trying new things and they were just diving on bad plays, but they were still able to make it out. They're having fun though, so can't really fault them for that. Yeah. Next, we had the second upset of the week of my team, my original team I loved, Sinnoh Dragon, and I'm back on the hype train because they beat Snake 2-0 with Flandre. Like, he did not look good in that series at all, and I thought I was very happy with how Sinnoh Dragon played that. And I thought that, and with what they're doing the next 2 weeks, I believe they're facing like Vici and LGD, either LGD or no, it's Team WE, I think. But it's one of the lower tier teams. Like this team could actually be looking for a playoff spot.
Mm-hmm.
Game number 4, we had Royal Never Give Up and LGD. Not great by Royal Never Give Up. They won 2-1. But LGD looks terrible. They're 0-3, and they haven't looked good in any series they played except for this one. Uzi's coming back after the Chinese New Year, which is this week, which means we're going through a shorter week this year. There's only 6 games, which I had to update here. I just realized. But after these 6 games, they will be going on break until next February 15th. What did you say? Something like that. It's like a week. It's like a week off of LPL. They'll play here
January 30th and then February 15th.
Yeah. Oh wow. So it's
2 weeks.
It's a full 2 weeks off of LPL. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, we're gonna be having that. We won't be doing the. Well, I guess we'll do it next week, but then the week after that we won't do the podcast. But yeah, Uzi will return after the Chinese New Year, so hopefully it helps RNG. But there are red flags there even with Uzi. Uzi can carry games, but they need to get with the meta. It's not a Protect the Puppy meta anymore, and they are still playing Protect the Puppy. Yeah. They have the skill level to go good enough with that, but they will not be going on their dominant spree of what they did in 2018 if they keep this up. I do not see it at all.
Yeah, they had like game number 1. Was a really close game. Like it was a really good game, and there was a team fight around Baron Pit that looked like RNG was winning, and then Kramer showed up.
Yeah, Kramer
just wiped everybody out.
Kramer is the LPL's version of Teddy from Janair when he was on Janair. He's a much better team now of SKT, but like I really enjoy watching Kramer. I feel terrible for him. Condi did show up a bit, I believe. Condi's on LGD, right? Yeah, he showed up a little bit in their next game, but Kramer's really been 1v5, 1v9ing every game, and he's almost won them a few games. Like his Ezreal is so clean. Next we had Sunning versus WE. I have some. This is where I finally have started taking notes to keep track of all the games, so I can be a little more detailed. They were dominating the entire early game because of Hacker's ganks, and his jungle presence was allowing his team to win all their what originally were supposed to be losing lanes. And then Sword Art in lane on Thresh was insane. He wasn't missing a single hook. I don't think he missed a hook until like 20 minutes. It was so clean. Sunning is so scary of a team. Like they are in my top 3 best teams in the world right now.
Oh, 100%. This
Uh,
team is actually insane.
yeah, they had a little slip up in game 1, but Sword Art and Maple are playing insane. I put them both as my MVPs for game 1. MVP for game 2 was Zhao on Urgot. He was a monster. I'll get to him later. I do bring this game up later. As a spoiler alert, he's going to be a player of the week. But he just crushed it. Like it's all the pieces fit for Sunning right now. Zhao, which is their original carry from last year and their like oldest member, he doesn't have to carry as much anymore because he has Maple in mid lane who is just performing lights out, and even performing even more right now is Sword Art, and it's just like it's unbelievable. And then they have their ADC as well is just on Kaisa is a monster. Like he's won so many games on Kaisa, it's ridiculous. LWX, I believe it's LWX or LMLZ. It's off the top of my head. I can tell you it's LMZ. Smiles SMLZ. That's what it is. SMLZ. Got it. There's a lot of players. there's
Yeah,
over
it's a lot.
there's over 500 players. I gotta try and memorize. We've had like 2 weeks
Yeah.
to do it. But SMLZ is the player, the ADC on Sunning, and he is a beast. I think he's actually probably been their biggest carry so far, but also Sword Art at the same time has like been. If your Thresh doesn't miss a hook for 20 minutes, it's kind of easy to play ADC at that point. I played both support and ADC.
Yeah.
And that's all for that game. That was a pretty clean sweep. WE does not look very good this year again. JDG versus Phoenix. Phoenix looked amazing. They beat JDG 2-0 like we said. We were telling you earlier that, or the week before, JDG had a lot of red flags that we were worried about, and turns out today that wasn't that big of a deal. But at this time, I was thinking, I was so cocky. I was like, oh yeah, like they were like talking on the analyst desk how much of an upset this was and how Fun Plus Phoenix is like here to stay and what's going wrong with JDG, and I was just like, yeah, we covered that. We covered a lot of red flags they had.
Yeah.
and then they go today and beat IG. But
Game 1 of this series would have been an even bigger blowout, but the only thing is their mid laner, Doing B, I believe is his name.
Doinby, yep, Doinby.
Yeah. Got caught out quite a bit.
Oh yeah,
And that's like the only thing you can say about the team.
yeah. I even have it in my notes here that few questionable plays by Doinby, but that is what Doinby does because Doinby is super aggressive and he just
And
constantly
also,
makes this.
I feel like I say it after almost every game. I even have it in my notes. It says it seems like every game I say there's an Urgot and a Zinzao popping off.
Oh yeah,
And it happens in this game too.
yep. I have MVP TN on Zinzao. Easily got everything started early and just snowballed the entire team to an easy game 1 victory. Is my final note.
And even in game 2, like, because the only real note I had in game 2 was hopefully someone actually starts to listen to me about the Gangplank into a Kali matchup. It is not a good match.
Do you want to hear my game 2 note from draft? All caps. Yeah. You gave him Zinzao again. How do you give him Zinzao again?
I just don't know, man.
He dominated him so bad in the first game. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I just get it. Like, I just don't understand the Gangplank. Now, there was earlier. We didn't really cover it. But it was a Snake versus
Sinnoh Dragon?
the Sinnoh Dragon game.
Mm-hmm.
They picked Gangplank against Urgot, which I love that matchup.
Yep.
That is such a good matchup for Gangplank.
Urgot is the most melee range champ in the game outside of Rakan. Like people don't know that Rakan's a range champ because his attack range is so small. But yeah,
you have to stop picking Gangplank against Akali.
Hmm.
It's not good.
I even had like here watching a Fed Akali is not fun even if you're on the opposing team, even if you're watching. You just hate that champion. Gimgoon was a beast on him, but it was mostly because of TN on Xin as well. He ganked a
Oh
lot
yeah,
early because they gave him Xin again. Like, I didn't get it. I was like, you got destroyed to this pick. Please ban it. Like, just don't give him that. Don't give him Xin. He's so meta right now.
yeah. Throughout all the regions we're watching, there is not a lot of diversity in the picks that are being put out. Like it is all the same.
Yeah, there's I think EU Karthus is a little better than
Yeah,
other regions Karthus is at the moment, but there's not. I get what you're saying. Where well, everyone's copying the Olaf redemption now that Tarzan did.
yeah.
I'm a fan of it, but like I'm a fan of a skilled jungler doing it, if that makes sense.
Not someone who just presses R and runs at you.
Yeah, exactly. LMX though on Fun Plus Phoenix, I think Fun Plus Phoenix is a very strong team as well. LMX is
Mhm.
also just like SMLZ. Got them both confused because they're both like capital letters. They're not like full names, and they both play a lot of good Kaisa. They're both on undefeated teams in China, and it's a little hard. But I think they're both excellent and in the running for best ADC so far this year
Oh,
for
yeah,
for
sure.
China. For China. Next game we had Billy, our favorite team here, versus Victory 5. It was pretty back and forth with, sorry, with V5 starting out with a little bit of an early lead. And Ben 4 was subbing for Pepper, which usually we have Pepper. And I remember I recognized that because I always laugh when their jungler is Pepper and their mid laner is Corn. So they're like Peppercorn. It just always makes me laugh. I'm a loser. But
It is funny.
in the notes again, just like Brock just said, really good plays early on Zhenzhou.
Yep.
And there was a lot of questionable plays by Meteor in this game. Meteor was struggling quite a bit, but about 22 minutes, it looked like our Victory 5 took a dive up on top, and it did not work out. Kuro was a beast on Lissandra. He ulted and Zonia'd himself. It bought his team a whole 6 seconds to be able to get there because, the Lissandra ult and Zonia, that is so much time that you can buy for your team. And then they just cleaned up that fight, took the Baron, and like ended the game immediately. It was really completely turned the game on its head. I gave MVP for that game to Kuro just because of that play single-handedly changed. It was like back and forth, 50-50, 50-50 constantly. Like take one, you kill a person, they kill a person, and then he makes that good play on top, and then the game ended 5 minutes later.
Yep.
Game
I was
two,
very surprised at how good the Poppy went too.
yeah, the Poppy was actually. I like seeing Poppy as. I don't like seeing Poppy as much because she's a tank that does a lot of unnecessary damage. Like
Wait, get that out.
and like Scion, but I like it because it's a little refreshing. It's not Scion, basically.
Yeah.
This one was another game two was another back and forth game as well. It looked like, let me read my notes. However, it was two fantastic plays around Baron for Billy, and they just took a 2-0 sweep. They just had two great team fights. They had the vision control around Baron, and I believe it was Galio in that game that just got a taunt, and it just worked out great. I believe that was that game. And if not, it might not have been. I watched it a lot, but the team fighting around Baron is something a lot of teams need to work on. I've been looking at. You got to control the vision, and you got to know. You got to watch out for the flanks. There's so many flanks around Baron that people are not picking up on over the last week, and it's really costing teams. Hopefully, the coaches are going over this in their practice. Got to keep
Hopefully so.
visions clear. You got to keep the vision clear.
Vision wins games, as much as I hate to say it. They're not just spoilers like they used to be.
We got Edward Gaming versus Vici Gaming. Edward Gaming it was actually a pretty good start for Vici Gaming actually in game one, but Edward Gaming kind of just overpowered them with their just raw talent and skill. But the issue I have with Edward Gaming here is they get really cocky and they give Wind Cassiopeia. And I knew that name off the top of my head. And they gave him Cassiopeia in game one. It didn't really work out. They won lane with Cassiopeia, but she wasn't very effective in team fights. And Cassiopeia is a very strong pick right now. Like very, very. I would say she's one of the top three, if not the top one most strongest champion right now in the Rift. And They left it open in game two, and Vici Gaming just destroyed with it. It's 4-0 in lane, made iBoy completely irrelevant, and I just think Vici Gaming. This is now they have a win over Sunning. They're the only team to ever take a game off Sunning. Now they have a win over EDG as well. Like this team, even though they haven't won a series yet, they're taking games, which is much better than what they can usually say.
Yeah.
Um, Sadly, even game three though, they banned Cassiopeia finally on EDG, and Snowflower, or not Snowflower, sorry, Southwind, and they see were just like they just destroyed it on Caitlyn. Like it was awesome. I love seeing that. Or is Breeze? Is it Breeze? I don't think it's
So
Wind.
Puff was on Caitlyn.
Puff was on, Puff is on Caitlyn, not Wind. Southwind is the support. That's why I got it confused.
This
Yeah.
is my absolute favorite counter pick in a Galio, which is with Scout went Vayne. Galio.
Oh yeah, that Scout popped off.
Personally, I think Vayne is a better counter pick than Lucian.
It's
because
close.
Vayne scales a lot harder.
Vayne does scale a lot harder, but Lucian also dominates a little bit more early. So if you can, but I get what you're saying because Galio doesn't necessarily play for early game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're both very strong picks into Galio, and Galio's getting nerfed pretty hard in this next patch. So we'll see if we even see him as much anymore. But I thought Puff played very well on Caitlyn as well. He got a triple kill towards the end when they were losing their whole base, and he just was doing that late game Caitlyn thing with all the traps, and it's like, oh, that auto just did 1k damage because it was on a trap. But
unnecessary.
Scout. It was basically Scout versus Puff type deal, and obviously Scout overcame because Scout's a little bit better of a player, much better of a player, I should say, because Scout is pretty well known. Series number 9. Man, there's so many series for LPL. What was Rogue Warriors versus LGD? Brock, you had LGD, but I felt the Rogue Warriors. They took a game off JD Gaming. They looked a little good. Like they got like pieces there, you know. It's not all bad, and they did end up winning against LGD, which goes to show LGD is not good. If they lost 2-0, or no, they lost 2-1 to 2-1 to Rogue Warriors. But Rogue Warriors, everyone has them towards the bottom of this. Like everyone had them between like the people with the most hope with them was like 14th place. Good job. So losing to Rogue Warriors and starting your season 0-3 as LGD, there's a big panic button going on there, and I don't think they're gonna recover from it.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm kind of there with you. I mean, game 2, for
Game 2 was with Condi starting out strong.
Yeah.
On Camille.
Yeah, I'm on the.
That was the game that LGD won. Where
this one with Zoe.
Yeah, I had Yuki on Zoe was disgusting.
Yeah,
I would just say. Oh, go ahead.
There's some good plays that happen, but they're just not bringing it all together.
I thought Yuki played very well on the Zoe, and I was thinking the whole game, like, Kramer's like, finally, my team's showing up. Condi was beasting it out on Camille. Like, Yuki's destroying. He absolutely destroyed Kongmin. Kongmin was on Lissandra, and he just got absolutely obliterated. And he was like, it was like what lost them the game, simply, which made Game 3 even more impressive. We had Ziwuji. I believe that's how you say it. It's Z and then Wuji. But he was like absolutely beasting up on Kaisa. I feel like Kaisa's in my notes as well. With Zinzao, like Zinzao, Kaisa. There's so many like that, and Urgot. But he was able to 1v4 in the pit. But I still give it to Kongmin because he was a monster. He picked LeBlanc at the Game 3 after getting destroyed in Game 2. I think even the analysts were saying how they should bring in a backup because he did so poorly. Like, it's tough to understand how poorly he did in Game 3 or Game 2. And he just came back and destroyed on LeBlanc. I believe he went like 8-0 or 8-3 and something. It was like awesome.
And for LGD, not even just for LGD, it's just this is the example I can use. I do not personally like Victor Bot.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Victor at all.
Like Victor top lane, I get why you do it. Like you bully some people, but you can't play Victor bot lane and do the Abyssal Mask and the Iceborne Gauntlet. You can't do builds like that because you're just delaying your damage even further than if you were top lane. Because
Yeah,
top lane, you get free farm because you're just bullying people out of lane. That's not really
but
going to happen bot lane for you.
but it's not even that big of a bully out of lane anymore since they nerfed it so hard. I feel like it just
Yeah.
loses to like these Aatroxes and these Akalis. It just gets run over
Oh yeah.
in all the leagues I've watched. I haven't seen many victors win or be the reason the team has won. Maybe like only
Yeah.
one or two I can think of, maybe in EU, but like that's it. Like I haven't seen any. Like most of them just get stomped. Uh, we can move on to our series number 10. We had Top versus OMG. Ale looked he was getting beaten up pretty bad in this game, sadly. He was getting ganked a lot, but that was also because he was overextending a little too much without vision, which is a rookie. If you got a rookie like this Ale, like he where he knows that confidence boost must have been for going 3v1ing or going 3-1 against the Shy 1v1ing him in lane. It must give him a little bit of a confidence boost because he doesn't ward anymore. He's going the classic Huni route there. But he got caught out a lot. But the real issue was OMG's bot side. They were down 40 CS by 15 minutes. Shelly was not looking good on the Kaisa at all. Loken was playing Lucian, I believe, and he
Yeah.
just yeah. He was playing Lucian against the Kaisa. I believe they switched in the next game, but after the game ended in 26 minutes, Shelly didn't even have 2 items on Kaisa. It was absolutely like that's what you get. You don't get MVP just for winning. If the person you were going against did so poorly, they didn't even get to the second item by 26 minutes in a professional game. That deserved MVP. MVP to me.
Yeah. And game two was even worse.
Yeah.
Game two was 10-0. Like they didn't get anything.
It was a perfect game. Game 2 was a perfect game.
Yeah.
They didn't even
It
get a
was,
single tower plating. It
God, that
wasn't the
was so bad.
perfect game because Top did not get all of the tower plates. But like, what defines a perfect game anymore? You know, it's weird.
Yeah.
But they didn't get the OMG didn't get a single kill, didn't get a single tower plate, didn't get a single tower, obviously, didn't get any dragons or rift heralds. So that's or barons. So it's as close to a perfect game as you can get. It wasn't even. It was ugly. It was ugly, real bad. Knight was playing Jace, right? That was that one.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, I have his stats here. By 15
Yep.
minutes, he had 3 kills and 170 farm. Oh. And
I
he
mean,
had both mid lane towers as well.
yeah. The end of the game, he was 270 farm to Akali to 178.
Yeah, and this was like a 25-minute game as well. So
Yeah, and that was at 22 minutes. The game ended at
yeah,
22 minutes.
22 minutes. Yeah, he was 270 farm at 220 farm is 10 CS, which is like the benchmark for a great pro player is to get the average 10
Yeah.
CS. He was 50 CS above that. While getting a bunch of kills and taking towers. It was insane. It was
Yeah, just taking everything.
Knight
Jace,
destroyed.
by the way.
Poor Icon, man. Icon's a rookie, and he just, that was not a good game for him. But they got to shake it off. They did upset Billy earlier in the week, so they're still 1-2. Finally, we have the games from today, which was Sunning versus Snake. It wasn't very good games to talk
Not
about.
interesting game at all.
Both of them
Like,
were quite boring, to be honest.
The only thing about game two was the fact that there was
Like there was like nothing happened for like the first 25 minutes of both of the games that I wrote. But SMLZ again, I remember the name now. It's Smiles. I always got to remember it. The name is Smiles. But it's just obviously not spelled that way.
Yeah.
But his Lucian dominated in game 2. He's just had a phenomenal series. Like he could I don't know who to name as the MVP of Sunning so far. They're just all so good. Hacker's been amazing in the jungle. Zhao has been amazing up top. Maple has been amazing for them in the mid lane. Sword Art and Smiles again, great. like they all can be like in position to be like top 3 in their position for the year so far. And when it's almost like IG last year. And then finally, since there wasn't too much to talk about those games, they were blowouts. Snake had a
Oh,
bad week. They went 0-2. With
well,
the loss to Sunning is acceptable. The loss to Sinnoh Dragon was not. Flandre looked bad in both, so I was very disappointed with him this week. This one. I was looking. This is just me. This morning, I was like, "Oh boy, we got IG. I am sitting here at 9-2. I'm about to go 10-2 in my second week of picking after going 9-3 last week. And I started out this week 1-2. I was like, oh, I'm gonna finish the week with an 8-game win streak. Nope. First game started out great. Saw Levi play, but Levi looked excellent on Olaf for JDG.
yeah,
The rest of his team, not so much. The rest of his team got just destroyed to IG. And then I'm like, okay, I was very upset in game 2 when they replaced Levi for Flawless. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Like Levi was like 6-1 or something like that. There was
it was
really
5-2 when the game ended.
yeah. So he's 5-2. So it was like
Yeah.
I believe he was like 5-1. He must have died at the very end with just how you know how it goes at the end.
Hmm.
but so he was like dominating as Olaf, and against Ning, that's very impressive since Ning has won 5 MVPs so far this year in the first 6 games.
Yeah,
And
game one is one of those games where, like, you tell people in solo queue, please don't play a Dame support
yeah,
because JDG picked Fiddlesticks and he had 4 kills. He had the second most kills in that game because everyone else had 1.
yeah, he took all them kills and. On Fiddlesticks, I do not like as a pick. I do not like the Fiddlesticks pick at all.
No, late game, it doesn't matter how big your Fiddlesticks is. Late game,
He's
if
getting
you get
popped.
hit by an ADC, you're dead.
Yeah, you're getting popped in 2 hits, if
Yeah,
that.
it is not going to take long. And there's a LeBlanc on the enemy team,
Oh
which is
yeah,
rookie.
yeah. It's just casually. It's just rookie, no big
Yeah.
deal. Surprisingly though, when they replaced Levi, who I was very upset about this because Levi had looked much better than Flawless up until then. Flawless looked, pun intended, flawless in both of the game 2 and game 3. Like he played insane. He just destroyed Ning, and not just Ning. Like he snowballed all the lanes so that all of his laners started destroying Rookie, and the Shy were losing. And it was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, I was just about to say, you know who didn't look flawless? The Shy.
The Shy looked very ugly.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it was not a good game.
Mm-mm.
Although I'm a massive fan of the Shy, Rookie, Ning, all of IG. Huge fan of Karthus losing.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Was that game 2 or game 3?
Yeah, that was game 2.
Game 2 was Karthus. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because the announcers were like, "Oh boy, pack it up," because Karthus. But no, Karthus lost because it's not Ning style. Ning style. Yeah,
Yeah.
because game 3 you played Kindred. I mean, they still lost. But or was that game 1 when they won?
Game
Kindred?
3, he played Camille.
Camille. Okay, yeah. But game
Yeah.
1 he played Kindred.
Yeah,
Camille
I
is
believe
his
so.
style as well. But I think he does best. I believe they were saying on the with Kindred, with Kane, with Zac. Anything that can avoid dying under tower. Like,
Mhm.
he just loves to dive so much. Camille's pretty good for that as well. But that doesn't work very well. You don't dive as Carfus. That's just not in the playbook at all.
No.
But yeah, they won both games. They won. JDG proved me wrong. I was so smug about them losing the Fun Plus Phoenix. I felt like we were some of the only people that predicted that, and I thought there was no way they'd beat IG. No way at all. I didn't think they'd take a game off IG, and I was gonna have them in my power rankings like super low this year. I was like, man, they're a mess. Everything's a mess with that organization right now. But no, I had to move them up a ton because I considered IG to be the second best team in the world, if not the best, with Griffin.
Yep.
And they beat him. Simple as that.
Yep.
All right, those are all the
I may
games.
have actually messed up on my predictions as well
No, all right.
because I like breeze through my predictions. So like looking back over it,
Oh, your power rankings.
yeah, my power rankings.
Got it.
Like, cause looking back over it, I did like before the podcast we were talking about our predictions because I gave them mine this week. Cause all right, not our predictions, our power ranking because that's the one thing we do go over ish. Huh. Uh,
Yeesh.
and And you were like, well, you put JD that low. And I was just like, oh, yeah, I guess. And then I looked at it and I was like, whoa, I put them way too low.
If you
I
want to
did
change real
not,
quick, I could change it.
I
If
did
you.
not mean to do that. But I do want to move them up, but I want to put them below where Billy Billy is.
Up at number 5
Yeah,
or below Billy Billy.
right above Billy Billy.
Okay, so I just
Yeah, just replaced it.
move these down one. Oops, undo. And down one to that, and then JDG. There you go. Much better.
Because I put JD when I looked at my thing, and I was like, I don't even know who JD is.
Okay, so let's move on to players of the week that we have. I have first off these. I will give fair warning. The website I used wasn't updated for today's game, so it was a little hard. I had to do them a little bit manually. And two, they're not. It's not a very good LPL website. It's good for all the other regions, sadly, but for some reason it doesn't. It doesn't take all the stats for LPL, so it made it a little difficult. But anyway, my top laner for the week was Sunning's Xiao El. He had 11 KDA, 11.0. He had a CS per minute of 10.5. Kill participation of only 58%, but top lane, deals with it. DPM of 540. That's a better one. And his best game was 8-1-5 on the Urgot that you were talking about against WE. Oof, man, that was a great game. Jungler for the week was also Sunning. It would be Hacker, who had a 6.71 KDA, a kill participation of 66.2, and he had a 7-0-10 game on Olaf against WE. Same game as the Urgot. It was, if you have such a good team against a bad team, you're going to get a lot of players of the week because inflated stats, but that's the way it's going to go. Mid laner of the week was RNG's Xiaohu. He had a KDA of 4.8. CS per minute of 8.1. He had over 502.6 damage per minute, and his best game was 7-0-8 against LGD on Galio. Very another big situation where RNG versus LGD, another good team versus another bad team. Our ADC of the week was Fun Plus Phoenix's LWX. He had a KD of 24.0, insane. He'd probably player of the week total. CS per minute of 10, DPM of only 444, not as high as the others. But he had an 8-1-6 game on Kai'Sa. That was the game on Kai'Sa we were talking about earlier as well. He was just a monster. And same game, or same person is Fun Plus Phoenix's Crisp. Had a 22 KDA, wards per minute of 1.59, kill participation of 64%, and his best game was the same as LWX's because they're a pair, of course. He went 2-0-8 on the Rakan against JD Gaming. Now, Brock, did you want to talk about Player of the Week? I will pull it up. This is not it. This is
that was one. That was at 128, wasn't it?
Yes. Okay. Let me pull it back up to 128, and tell me when you're ready to hit play. Do you want me to do the countdown or you?
1 second. You can. I'm ready now.
3, 2, 1, go. Oops, I completely messed it up.
Nice.
I went to unmute it and I hit next video. I don't want this anymore. All right. Now we're ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
Looking for a gank from both. Oh, there's the kick in after the Devour. That's a disaster for LGD. They lose both of their bot laners.
Awesome play.
Easy play.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful play because when you're playing Lee Sin, like one of the worst ADCs to play, like for a Lee Sin to play against is Ezreal, because it's just between his dashing and all that stuff because it cancels kicks. Like you have to go into that play knowing you have to kick Tom Kench. And if Ezreal would have actually phase shifted in any other direction and Tom Kench couldn't have aided him, he lives through that play. So that's a good mess up from Tom Kench to actually devour him because Ezreal could have made it out of that. And that's just good heads up play from Lee Sin knowing that that's what you need to do. And it's just such a beautiful flash kick.
was this situation where Kramer's like, "What are you doing? Why'd you
Yeah,
eat me?"
this is one of those please all like X9.
X9 my support.
X9 my support.
That was Zhao Yao, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, that was him on Lee Sin. He actually had a pretty good week. He had a very
Yeah,
good
he
week.
had a really good week.
I was thinking about putting him for Player of the Week, but Hacker just had much better stats because Sunning. It's unfair.
Yeah, Sonny. Yeah.
it's
That's what we call padding the stats.
Yeah, it's so unfair. Especially when you look at players like on Sunny, it's like, oh, all their stats are so much better than everyone else's. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a good play of the week. I like that. Moving on, we got our power rankings. And today we have our power rankings. We both changed number one.
Yep.
Understandably, we both have Sunning number one now. And we have IG number two. IG lost, so that makes sense why we wouldn't have them number one anymore. And like if you've guessed over the course of this podcast, we kind of like Sunny. They're an awesome super team. I've always loved Maple. I've always loved Flash Wolves. I always love Sword Art. I've said before on this podcast is my favorite support out of any professional support, and I just think they're an awesome team. I'm really glad to see that Maple and Sword Art are proven that they can do it in the LPL, and they're not just LMS talent. We both have Fun Plus Phoenix number 3. I have top number 4. You have Edward Gaming number 4. Is there a reason why you think Edward Gaming deserves number 4? Did you want to break that down?
Well, for me, Edward Gaming is 2-1 in their series, and they're 5-3 in their games.
A little sloppy on the
that's-
games.
Yeah, their games are sloppy, but they're finding a way to win these games where either they're behind or they're ahead and managing to just keep the game ahead and win. So like it's kind of a comfort area to put them right now because the middle, well, not so much the middle, but not the top. Right under the top, there's a certain group of teams who are just where they belong.
Yeah.
And it seems like those teams you can just mix and match wherever you want to put them.
That's fair. That's fair. And when you said they're 5-3, I've noticed that, but I guess I didn't realize they've gone the 3-game series every single one of their series so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they haven't played necessarily good teams. They played Sino Dragon. They played who else? They played Snake. They lost to Snake, and they played who they played this week. I can't remember. But
EDG, they played Vici Gaming.
Vici Gaming, yep, they played Vici Gaming, and they almost lost that series. That was very close.
Yeah. Yep.
I have top number 4. I think Knight is a monster on that Jace, and I did drop them. I think Fun Plus Phoenix deserved a higher rank up because they're undefeated and they look amazing as well. LMX looks like one of the best ADCs in the league. Awesome.
Yeah, they're undefeated in their series. There was one team who took a game off of them.
Yes, same as Sunning. Vici Gaming took a game off Sunning.
Yeah. Yeah, same with Sunning.
We both have JDG number 5. I'm telling you, they've moved up last second today. I was already ready today to put them probably like 11th or 12th on the list here. They beat IG. You beat IG, you're moving all the way up that list.
Yep, for sure.
That's exactly. No one has beaten IG in over a year outside of RNG. If that was the stat they brought out today. Not a single team had beaten IG in over Spring Split last year or Summer Split last year, except for RNG.
My only thing about JD is I feel like in my heart I want Levi to be the better jungler, but they're not giving him his types of jungler.
Yeah.
Like they're putting him on Olafs and stuff like that, while Flawless is getting Camille's.
I feel like
Zenzao's and all these other.
I remember Levi on Nocturne at the World was like amazing. Anything that's a dive, like Olaf can dive a bit. Olaf's not terrible. It's not like a Sejuani or something, but like it's still I like him on like squishy people like Nocturne and stuff, where you just blow up someone else really quick.
Yep.
You have Billy number 6. I have number 8. That's okay. I think they're a good team. I'm rooting for them hard every single week. You have Silent Dragon 8. I have a 9. I'm buying back into that hype, which just ultimately means they're gonna lose. That's what it means. Happens all the time in over all leagues. Anytime we buy into hype about a team, they just crash and burn. It's very sad.
You hate this.
And then the bottom we have like Snake, OMG, Vici Gaming. Vici Gaming, watch out. I feel like they haven't won yet. They're 0-2. but they've won a game off Sunning, the only team to do that, and they beat a game off EDG. Those are two really tough matches. That's their only two matches they've done, Sunning and EDG. So I expect better. I have them up 12, which is kind of rare for a team that's 0-2, but I really believe in them to be able to at least pull a few wins coming out soon, hopefully. LGD, I think we both think LGD is the worst team in the league, and same with WE. WE moved up this week just because LGD played worse. I think those two teams are. I think they're
awful.
They're well below Victory 5. Victory 5 and Rogue Warriors down there as well. I think those teams are much better than Team WE and LGD. I think they will be playing against each other, and the way they look right now, they could be. One of them could have one win, and the other could have 0. They do not. They're just messes, and I feel bad for Kramer. Like, I really think Kramer. It's sad because he's probably like in the top half, like maybe top 6, top 7 best ADCs right now in LPL, and he's on the worst team.
LGD is so far 2 days in, LGD is the equivalent to 100 Thieves in LCK. Like, Kramer's such a good ADC, but his team is very heavy.
Yep, very, very heavy. All right, let's move on to week 3 predictions, and I will edit this because we don't have this stuff anymore because it's only 6 games this week, thanks to Chinese.
Thank you.
Thanks to Chinese New Year, which means I can sleep.
No, we can't sleep. We have 9 other regions to watch.
You're right. Let me just fix that up real quick. But what's series number 1, Brock? Do you have it off the top of your head so I can?
Series number 1 is Sindu Dragons against Vici Gaming.
Oof, that's a tough one for me. I just oofed, so I'm sorry. I want to pick. Where's my picks? I have them here. But okay, yeah. I didn't write as much detail as I wanted, but I have Sinu Dragon winning. But I kind of want to change that. Am I allowed to change that? I haven't made it official yet.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to
go.
go.
It's not official until it's typed in.
I think I picked Sinu Dragon just because I like them and I'm on the hype train. But I'm going to go Vici Gaming for 2-1. Close series. It could burn me and I'll feel bad because I really love Sinu Dragon. But Vici Gaming has taken a game off Sunning and a game off EDG. Going against Vici. They're not going against themselves. Going against Sinu Dragon is a much easier opponent than both of them. And I think that they can finally get a series win for once. Hopefully for them. I still kind of want Sinu Dragon to win, but we'll see. What do you have?
I actually kind of wish you would have stuck with Sinu because I picked Vici.
This is in my head. I'm like, oh no, something's wrong. I can feel it. I'm not the same as Brock.
Yeah, that's the same thing I was thinking. I was like, they took a game off of like the top team, so it's like they have to be good. Yeah, and that's not saying Sinu Dragons is bad because Sinu Dragons isn't bad.
They're much better than what people gave them credit for at the beginning. We picked them up pretty high, but to be fair, to not glow, we didn't know as much about the LPL, so it wasn't like it wasn't the most knowledgeable pick when I had him at I think I had him at 7 or 8 at my preseason, but I wasn't super knowledgeable, and I saw everyone else putting him at 15th, and I'm like, uh-oh. And then especially after their first game against EDG where they got blown out 2 games in a row, I'm like, oh no. But they've came back. They're 2-1. They haven't lost since.
Nope.
So
second game is OMG versus V5.
Yeah, OMG versus V5. I think Ale on OMG will carry this. V5 hasn't won a game yet. They're also the other new organization with Sinu Dragon. I think they look worse than Sinu Dragon has. They haven't looked terrible in the sense of they haven't looked like Team WE and Team LGD, but they still are like the threshold right above that. So they're not terrible. If it's like a scale of 1 to 5, they're not a 1, they're a 2. So they're still bad. And I think OMG, even though they're only 1 and 2, I think Ale will be able to carry. I'm worried about their bot lane though. Their bot lane with Chelly is not great. They've really struggled in all 3 series so far. But I believe in Ale. I think Ale's a rising star.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a very, very sloppy 2-1 series for OMG.
All right, OMG is good. Woo! Yeah, it's 2-1. That's exactly how I'm thinking.
Yep.
Game number 3 is Let's see.
LGD versus Top.
Oh, we don't need to talk about that. Top.
Yeah.
Top.
There's pretty good chance we're not going to need to talk about the next as well.
What's the next one?
WE versus EDG.
EDG. Next.
Yeah.
This is nice. We can go through these fast.
We may not have to talk about the next two. Actually, we will have to talk about not the next one, but the next.
If we just want to say something real quick, EDG and Top much better. Team WE and LGD, yikes! We were just saying how bad they are.
Yeah.
They might not win a single game against each other, or only against each other will they win a single game at the moment. That's how they look. That's how bad they look. And I don't see Top and EDG are top 4 teams. So
Yep. The next game is IG versus Snake.
I want to say Snake has a little bit of a rebound with Flandre doing better, but they looked very poor in both their games, and I feel like that might have been a fluke, them beating EDG now.
Yeah.
I think that might have been more of a fluke, and they are actually more of a bottom-tier team, and I'm hoping Flandre can still pop off, because his Akali and his Aatrox are monster picks, but against the Shy, how well are you going to hope for a pop-off with your top laner? I know the Shy didn't look good today, but it's still the Shy.
Yep.
I have IG winning 2-0.
Also have IG winning. Now, speaking of game of the week, we have Sunning versus Fun Plus Phoenix.
Oh, I'm so excited about this game. Oh,
yep.
Who do you have? You go first.
God, this one is so tough.
It's very tough.
My only reason, well, obviously there's a lot of reasons why I'm going to pick Sunning, but one of the main reasons I'm going to go against Fun Plus is because Doing B gets called out a lot, and getting called out like that is not going to go well at all for Sunning. Mm-hmm. And I also think Maple is just that much better than B.
I don't know if he's that much better in a sense, but I do agree that I would put him above him at the moment.
Yeah. But, I have Sunning. I have Sunning, though, and I want to say 2-1.
Yeah. You know what? I have Sunning in 2-1 as well. I think what you brought up with Doinby and Maple, that will be an interesting battle. Doinby is very aggressive. Maple not. Maple is also very aggressive in the sense that he doesn't like the war. He just likes to go. So it's going to be just a mess between those two. And I'm really looking forward to see SMLZ and LWX go against each other on bot line. I told you earlier that they're both the best Kaisas in LPL right now. Not true, because I forgot there's also Jackie Love, and Jackie Love's going to be getting a world skin for Kaisa. Kind of forgot about him because he's been a little under the radar lately the last few this season. It's more been the Shy and Ning, really, especially Ning carrying IG.
Yeah.
And but I think this will be a very exciting series. I have it at 2-1, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Fun Plus Phoenix win. I think they are if I had to pick a top 10 teams in the world, I think Fun Plus Phoenix would make that list.
If I had my choice for champ select this game, I would make sure Galio, Urgot, and Lissandra. Because I want to see Doinby and Maple just go at
Assassin versus Assassin.
Yep.
LeBlanc versus Akali.
Yep, that's what I want to see.
Let's see it. That'd be awesome. Well, that's our picks. It's a short week this week because of Chinese New Year, and then next week will also be a short week because of Chinese New Year. Well, that won't be next week. It'll be 2 weeks from now. Will also be a short week because of Chinese New Year as well. So we can wrap up with that. You can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/KingLinkFan. We stream Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. For all the leagues, Sunday is LPL, Monday is NA, Tuesday is LCK, Wednesday is LMS, and Thursday is LEC. I got them all right. Had to think about it a little bit. We also are on YouTube at KingLinkFan, and you can follow us on Twitter at Support Esports. Thank you, Brock, for joining me, and have a good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.